In the highest mountains on Earth, life exists on a razor's edge. Here, nature plays no favorites. And as dawn strikes the frozen cliffs, the struggle for survival begins anew. Welcome to the world of the snow leopard. The Himalayas, over 13,000 feet above the sea. Here, the biting cold, sheer cliffs and thin air make survival a fierce trial. But the snow leopard does not merely survive. It was born for this world. Its body, lean, muscular, and explosive. A powerful chest pulls oxygen from the rarefied air. Broad paws find purchase on ice and stone, while a long tail provides flawless balance on near vertical mountainsides. On the roof of the world, the snow leopard doesn't rely on spectacle. It reigns through power, precision, and an almost perfect mastery of its environment. At the highest altitudes, where the air thins with every foot of elevation, the bharal emerges, a creature born of the rock itself. They rarely stray from the treacherous slopes, not just for food, but for survival. More closely related to mountain goats than true sheep, the bharal embodies the resilience, caution, and endurance of a species that lives on the edge. An adult bharal can weigh around 165 pounds, a solid frame, a broad chest, powerful legs. On its head, a pair of horns, a core of bone sheathed in hard keratin, enough to make any predator think twice before a direct confrontation. And the snow leopard knows this is not the right target for this moment. From its high vantage point, it surveys the terrain, reads the movements, and waits for the perfect moment. Large, fur-covered paws grip rock and snow. A long tail provides balance as it glides silently through treacherous paths, closing the distance, unnoticed. The gap closes, the air freezes, then it explodes into motion. But on the fractured slopes of the Himalayas, a single misstep can turn the tide of the hunt. It cannot secure its prize. On this precipice, survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the one who makes the fewest mistakes. A failed hunt does not mean the pursuit is over. Along the riverbank, the bharal herd drinks. More bodies mean more eyes and ears on the lookout for danger. This time, the snow leopard is more cautious. Its smoky gray coat dissolves into the terrain. It makes no wasted moves. Because every burst of speed, though reaching nearly 40 miles per hour, is a costly expense of energy in the thin mountain air. It stalks the trail the herd has left behind. One individual falls out of rhythm, a fragile opening in the circle of vigilance, and the predator understands that in these Himalayas, survival comes not from sheer power, but from a perfectly seized moment. Long, powerful hind legs allow the snow leopard to launch itself across gaps of 30 to 50 feet on the steep slopes. A single pounce in exchange for energy, a predator's gambit. Because in this place, every acceleration, every leap is a trade-off between hunger and the chance to survive. The yak, a living fortress of muscle and endurance. An adult bull can stand nearly 7 feet at the shoulder, weighing over 1,700 pounds. Its wide chest draws in the thin mountain air, while a thick coat locks in precious heat against the cold. The yak does not simply endure the winter, it thrives where other species falter. As a result, a prime adult has almost no rival willing to risk a head-on confrontation. Only the young or the weak face true peril. Winter in the Himalayas. Temperatures in the high peaks can plummet from -4 to -31 degrees Fahrenheit. Every living thing must obey a harsh calculus, conserve energy, or vanish. An adult yak is not a wise target. Too large, too powerful, and capable of turning a failed strike into a devastating injury for the attacker. And so, the snow leopard seeks the most vulnerable link in the chain, a calf. It closes the distance in near perfect silence. When the threat is revealed, the adults surge forward. A wall of instinct to protect their young. And before this living wall of horn, mass, and raw instinct, the hunter is left with only one option: retreat, with no prize. The snow leopard. To survive the bitter cold and extreme altitude, it requires over 3 pounds of meat each day. This relentless energy demand compels it to hunt, again and again. It is a master of the ambush. It draws near in almost perfect silence. Hidden by rock, by snow, by the shadows of the land. Only when it lunges does the prey realize there is no time left to react. But the ibex is a creature of the cliffs. Its advantage is not speed, but surer footing, sharper turns, and a better escape on the sheer slopes. For the snow leopard, a long chase is a heavy price. Energy drains with every second. The chance of success dwindles. And if it fails, it must face the hunt anew, with a hunger that has never let go. Darkness descends on the Himalayas. A deep cold spills over the stone slopes, gripping all life in silence. For the snow leopard, a fresh prize is more than a meal. It is the energy that will determine survival in the days ahead. The ravens are the first to arrive, drawn by the scent of the prize. Their presence becomes an unintentional signal to others. A wolf appears, tracking the promise of a rare feast. It wants its share. From above, the snow leopard sees it all. Its silent presence alone is enough to warn the first visitors. This prize is not for them. They know to leave quickly. Then a fox ventures near, just quick enough to tear away a morsel. In that instant, the leopard descends. No longer a silent observer, no more yielding. A single decisive charge is all it takes to drive the intruder from the feast. And on the frozen slopes of the Himalayas, the law is clear. Securing the prize is only half the battle. Defending it is survival itself. Pika. This young male survived the winter on last year's food store. So when the brief summer returns, there isn't a second to waste. They race to cut grass, dry it in the sun, and stockpile for the coming winter. Filling a single larder can take 1,000 trips, but keeping the food is just as hard as gathering it. And as the weather begins to turn, thieves emerge. This pika doesn't gather its own. It chooses a faster way, stealing from a neighbor. And this time, he gets away. The pika is a vital link in the life of the Tibetan fox. With her cubs still near the den, the mother must hunt. And on these high steps, her most familiar target is the pika, a small, energy-rich rodent living in burrow systems right on her doorstep. But hunting pika is never easy. They are small, fast, and incredibly alert. A single unusual movement, and her quarry vanishes underground. So, the Tibetan fox hunts with patience. Sharp ears catch the faintest sound. Her eyes track the slightest movement in the low grass. She can watch for hours, waiting for a single moment of weakness. Then, when the moment comes, the body lowers, the distance closes, and a single, short, swift, precise strike is all it takes to bring a meal home to the family. Caucasian snowcock. This is no bird of the deep woods. It is a denizen of the high, rocky slopes of the Caucasus, where the tree line ends, and a world of scree, alpine grass, and lingering snow begins. Its plumage of mottled gray, brown, and white was not made for display, but to vanish into the landscape itself. From a distance, its form dissolves against rock and withered grass, a camouflage brutally effective on the exposed slopes. But between 6,500 and 13,000 feet, summer arrives late and leaves without warning. Every thaw is a trigger, opening a fleeting window to forage, build reserves, and complete the cycle of life before the cold descends once more. In this world, the Caucasian snowcock does not survive on brilliance, but on the sharp edge of adaptation. In the Himalayas, the fight for survival never truly ends, because where rock, ice, and the abyss reign, every day of survival is a victory. And in the silence of the high mountains, the phantom walks on. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest videos.